said they wanted it. And this morning, Christine, when we were on talking to you, on another one from my Macy's, a personal shopper, she apologized she couldn't be on it, and so I just sent her the video. So even though 10 showed up, 60 were invited. That just shows that people are interested.
Yes, that's about. By the way, that's a great number. You got more than 10%
Uh-huh.
of the people that you
Uh-huh.
call, and that's really good. That's a great lesson because many times people say, "Well, I invite one person and didn't come." You have to go for the numbers,
Mhm.
and that's great. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Caroline. I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
and actually,
Christine.
George,
Yeah,
real quick, and one of
oh
them,
yeah.
Claudia, she spoke Spanish. She wants to talk to you too today, just so you know.
Okay, that sounds
Okay.
perfect. By the way, Friday, I know some people are going to be in Cabo, but Friday is going to be the recording is going to be mine in English, no, not in Spanish on Friday. But I have already Spanish. I have to edit it because they suggest me something because I did it the same English and in Spanish, and I'm going to redo it in Spanish. Although some people have seen it already in Spanish, but I'm going to redo it and it's going to be posted here, not here, in our Legacy Maker channel. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. And now, Christine, go ahead.
All right. Well, happy Wednesday and congratulations, Caroline. You really did a great job. And today I'd like to talk about the disc personalities because I would tell you 43 years ago when I started this industry, are you recording this, George? I don't know if you need to, or is it being recorded?
Yeah, it's being
Okay, sorry,
streamed
sorry,
right
great,
now.
great, 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 great. Um, this changed my life and how to build a big organization. And we have four different personalities, and I could go on for several hours, but I only have about 30 minutes or so, but we can do more of it in more in depth. But just generally speaking, when you understand the DISC program, it can change your business dramatically. And I want you to get your pencils and papers out this morning. And one of the things I'd like you to do, the first thing is I want you to write this question down. Just write it down like number one, say, tell me about yourself. That would be the first question. And underneath that question, I want you to write the little word D and then underneath it, I, and then a C. I mean, let's see, DISC, and just leave it blank. Okay, there's underneath. And then the number two question will be, if you had the ideal, what do you like best or least about your current situation? And that could be, what do you like least or best about your current job, your lifestyle? You're gathering information from this person. So you want to find out what they like, what they don't like. Number three is if you had the ideal dream career, what would it be like? Now, in those three questions as I go through this, you will be able to figure out exactly how to deliver your presentation to this individual because you'll find out what personality they are, what their hot buttons are, what they like, what they don't like, and what they really want. And then that way you will be able to just orient yourself towards this a presentation. Now, we have four different personalities, and there's four different personalities. You all have a little bit of each of it in you, everyone. But usually we have two personalities that are higher than others, which I will explain in a moment. But the first personality that you're going to meet is what we call a D, a dominance. It's a dominance personality. And the characteristics of a dominance personality is quick results. They are result oriented. They make quick decisions. They control people. They want power and authority. Now, with that particular personality, you will have to do a short interview, a short presentation, and you let them do the talking. They're going to try to control the situation. That's what they do in their life. They try to control people. And the benefits that you're going to try to tell them of how 3 International is going to fit in their life is they can be their own boss. These are the benefits. They can have leadership opportunity to build their passive residual income. They have high income high income potential. Now, when you're talking to somebody like this, you and a D, you got to talk big money. If you talk little money, like, oh, you could just do some little affiliate link marketing and you could make maybe another $1,000 a week, they're going, forget it, I'm not interested. You got to say things. We're making people are making $50 a week or making 50,000 a week, which we know is happening right now. We have people that are making over 100,000 a week. Now that's the kind of money I'm going to talk about to a dominant personality, because they're like, yeah, I'm all about that. Tell me how to do this. How can I make this happen? I'm going to create the interest there. But when I know I have a D like that, it's all about money, how fast they can go, not to try to control them, and my schedule, especially if you will be an S personality or a C personality, you have to let that D move and don't try to pull them back. Their biggest fear of a D, a dominant personality, is being taken advantage of. And why? Because they take advantage of others. Not in a bad way, but they learn to control. They work through people. They get people to work for them. They say, oh, will you do this? Will you do this? It's like your boss. I mean, they learn to organize and get people in movement. And so some of the questions that you might, they can be intimidating to you, especially if you're an SC personality. Maybe you might say, I remember I had this person, I always think about this, when I was in Houston building my first platform. This one director came and said, oh, I've got this person. She's in corporate America. She really thinks she knows everything. And she doesn't even know she'd be interested, but she thinks she's so great. And I said, great, bring her on. So she came. Now I knew who this person, and that's why your me or whoever's doing your presentation, I'll say, tell me something about them, because I want to know who I'm going to talk to. Okay. But this lady came and sat down, and I knew I had a D personality, because the first words I said out to her, tell me about yourself. Two characteristics. They'll say, there'll be two things that D will say when you say, tell me about yourself. This is the response. What do you want to know? They're controlling. What do you want to know? Or they'll tell you how great they are. Oh, I've been in charge of this, I've been a manager. They'll tell you how great they are. I know I have a D. Now I know I have to deal with money, and I've got to take control of it. And then, of course, the second question, what do you like about your current or best, your job? I find out what they like, what they don't like. The next thing is, what would they really like? Well, when she's told me how great she was, oh, blah, 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 I knew I had to take control of the situation in a nice way, of course. I'm never aggressive, but maybe silently aggressive. I said, oh, well, you know what? It sounds like you might have some of the qualifications that we're looking for leadership. Maybe, I said, I think what we can do, we can go ahead and we'll go ahead with the presentation. And at the end, we can fill out your agreement, your information, and we can send it into the company and see if they accept it. I took control of the situation in a nice way. Everybody get this? I was just really nice. And then I went through the whole thing. At the end, I pulled out my agreement, like your enrollment paper. And I pushed it across, gave her a pen. I said, let's go ahead and fill it out, and we'll send it in and see if they accept you. She walked away from that lunch meeting and said to the director, oh, I hope they accept me. I took control. I didn't let the D control me. I was very nice. I was very, very nice. But this is what you have to learn, because if you're an SC personality, a D can dominate you. And you'll start to talk and say, just get to the point. Tell me, and you're like, oh, but don't you need to know about the science? No, they don't need to know about the science. They don't care if selling dog food or pencils. They just want to show me the money. How do I get there? I want to go fast. Don't slow me down. Okay, so this is a D, and you want these kind of people on your team, because they are racehorses. The gate opens, they race, and they're going. Okay, so that's a dominance, and you can always tell on how they dress too. A dominant, sometimes they don't care how they dress. they're not here to impress anybody. They'll be just sloppy or whatever. They don't care. They're controlling. I can do anything I want. Or they may dress with high-end designer look, you know. I mean, they've got the latest designer clothes. All right, now the next person is an influencing. And this person is people oriented. They love to talk. They're motivational. They're enthusiastic. I've got lots of them on my team. They're just great. Maria is one of them, I can tell you. Now, on an I, when you say, tell me about yours. Oh, I'm going. The communication has to be a longer interview because you have to build this relationship, because you'll understand in a second. The benefits of an I is not so much money, it's the recognition, the impact on people. They want to win the prize, they want to be on stage. So I might say to that I, when I find out, I'm saying, can you imagine? Can you see yourself on the stage waving to the crowd? Can you see yourself teaching to the crowd and impacting lives? And they go, yeah, I can. I can. A D doesn't care. A D can sit in the audience. I'm just collecting the money. I don't care to be on the stage. It's all about the money. This is where they're coming from. Okay. So I always talk about that. Biggest fear of an I personality is loss of social recognition. If you were to say something negative, or you hear something and you call and say, did you hear someone, you were on stage and they didn't like the way your dress was, you had the wrong shoes, or they were talking about this, and they go, what? Now they have to call every person afterwards. Do you think she said this? Or he said that? Do you think that's true? She has to get they want everybody to like them. This is important to them. They love to talk, they're motivational, they're enthusiastic. And so when I say to them, tell me about you, they tell you their life story. I know right away. They tell you the life story. Well, I grew up in San Diego, then I went to this school, and then I got married, then I got a divorce, but then I was dating this guy, but then he had a boat, and I don't like to sail boats, but then I didn't know what to do about this. In about 15, 20 minutes, they tell you their life story. You have an I, they're enthusiastic, they tell you their life story. That is what it's all about. Okay. And so then you find out, what do you like now? What don't you like? What do you like? And then you deliver it. But what I'm going to really impress upon her or him is Craig's an I. Craig goes to every event. He's enthusiastic. He wants to be up on stage. He wants to run around and have a great time. I know Antoinette is a big I. We could go right through. I can tell you Frida's a D. D is, it's all about business. Okay, let's just get down to this. Let's forget all this fluff. Let's get right to it. Tony's the same way, but Lisa, his wife, is like, this is so fun. Let's go and have a good time. Lynn's a D. I could go right through this whole thing, and there's no right or wrong. We just have to know who you're dealing with so that you can get the best results out of your team. This is important. So the I is all about recognition. I know even George said one time that Adrian, they get up, there's a team, they're business partners, and they get up there, and then she said, well, I want more recognition. You kind of dominated. I want to be up there. She's an I. She wants to be up there on the stage too, talking more. She doesn't want to be behind George. She wants to be up there. She's a big, and you listen to Adrian, she's so great. I'm up there, da-da-da-da-da. But George has some I in him too. Let me tell you. He has he's lots of fun. So you got two I's competing for the stage. Are you with me? They're both competing for the stage presence. And it's not right or wrong, but you just have to know who you're dealing with so you can get the best results and know who your players are. And I will wear lots of the newest fun, trendy things. What fun. I know I can tell you in our last platform, we had a lot of recognition in my first platform of MK, and they would get bees and ribbons and red jackets, all these different things. And you would see the eyes would be, their whole jackets would be full of every ribbon, every bee, every prize they ever won. That would be all over their jackets, where the D would never do that. So I'm not wearing those ribbons. I'm not going to use that at all. But the I's have to, they were very proud, they're excited, they have to show off all of their stuff. So you've got D's and you've got I's. I's are exciting, they keep your group going, they're enthusiastic. The D's are driven, let's get to it and make money. Now we have the SC's. S's are steadiness. They're family oriented. They're loyal. They're slow to change. They're security minded. Do you hear my voice? Do you hear my voice change now? When I'm dealing with someone and they say, tell me about yourself, the S will tell me the first words out of her or his wife's name or voice will be, well, I have 2 kids, I have a family, and I said, well, that's great. And tell me more about yourself. Well, I take my kids to soccer practice after school, and I do this and that. It's all about the family. I know I have an S right away. I know my financial advisor is an S. So I didn't want to have a financial advisor with an I personality. It'd be all over trading my stocks and doing all of this and that. I wanted an S because I said to my financial advisor, when I first interviewed him, I said, tell me about yourself. And in the back end is all his pictures of his family. And the first words out of his mouth, well, I have a family. I have two daughters and a wife. And he's very slow talk. I said, okay, good. Security. He's going to take good care of my money. He's going to get the best people to manage my portfolio. There's steadiness. Everybody kind of get that? So you want to have different personalities in there. So they're slow to change. They're security minded. You have to always do 2 interviews. Now, that's one of the reasons that I do my Zoom calls every day at 6 Central, 7 Eastern, is that for the SCs, they can count on me. They know rain or shine, I'm going to be there. If no one shows up, I was there. It's okay. I always like if they call and kind of give me a heads up, they're going to have people. But if they don't, because they need to know they can depend on me. That's what's important. A D and I go, well, she didn't show up. We can do our own thing. We don't care. But the S is like, we know steadiness. And you have to do a 2-part interview. You have to share facts. They want all the PDF files. They want all the clinical studies. They want everything. And so what do you say to them? You can say the benefits to a S is that you can guarantee time with their family, that they will be able to take their kids to the soccer field, but they can build a passive residual income because their biggest fear is loss of security. So what are they like? Smartship. Smartship is security. They could be at the ball game and now they are making money. That's secure. And they can still be with their family. Do you know when you go into an S family or S house, what do you see? Little things on their walls. Home is sweet. Collections. They collect bunnies, rabbits, little collections, little things in their house. You would never see that in a D personality. It would be more chromatic. I mean, there's not a bunch of stuff, but they've got all these little collections that are in there. They're the mothers that will wear all the little pajamagrams, the whole family. You've seen them advertise. Buy the pajamas for Christmas Eve, but everybody can all have their old pajamas. All the same, the father, the mother, the kids, everybody has the pajamagrams. Everybody. And so and they wear the sweaters, Halloween sweaters, Thanksgiving sweaters, and they wear the paisley dresses. I mean, they're just great. They're just the solid core. And so again, I will say something to them at the end. After I say, absolutely, I can send information to you. But also, I'll tell you something else. They get back onto my Zooms the next day or several days later to hear it again. And I had a couple of them last night. They were back on there. Oh, we just came back to listen again. S's, they want to hear it again. And so they usually take 2 interviews, not just one. The D's and the I's, okay, tell me what to do, let's go. The S's, so that's where you get frustrated, is that 80% of the people you're talking to are SC personalities, and they just don't move out that quick. And then they're going, send me information. I'll get back to you. I need more time. I have to try the product before I could even consider to see if it works for me. Adian and I do not care. They don't care, again, if it's selling dog food or pencils. They're just like, show me the money, let's go. But the S's are, and so you have 80% of these people that are slower to move. So if you're going to build a team, a board of directors, you want to get some DIs in there that are going to move out resources, that are going to start bringing people quickly, because it takes almost 2 years for an SC to really take off. It doesn't mean that they're not good. It means that they're going to learn every single thing about the product and the science, and they will go to every event that goes, Dr. Dan's coming. We got to show up. Dr. Dan's coming. That's why the wellness night on Wednesdays has the most people on the wellness night from the company, because the SCs, I've got to, look, there's more science. There's more this. They are excited versus maybe on Monday night when they talk about the opportunity. So it's all very good. So I will say to an SC, what is their biggest fear? Is loss of security. I'll say, well, would you be willing to work on an already proven system? Those are key words. Those are security. Would you be willing to work on an already proven system? Oh, of course. Would you be able to work consistently? Of course. I always work consistently. I do is what I'm told to do. And so those are the steadiness. Now you have, excuse me, let me take my kinetic. Now you have your compliance. Detailed, oriented, perfectionist, critical, analytical. You have to do a 2-part interview with them. You have to share facts. They want to see every single thing. I would say like Dr. Green. Remember what Dr. Green said? That a lot of people were trying to recruit him in. He's a board certified internist. And then he would say, show me the studies. Well, we don't have the study. Well, I'm not interested. And then when somebody introduced him to 3, he said, show me the study. He said, well, yeah, we have the clinical research. Oh, he didn't even have, he's a D. He's a DC. He didn't need to even try the product. He knew he could see the clinical research. And that was good enough for him. They're very analytical. And so you have to do a 2-part interview with them, and you have to send lots of information about them. Their biggest fear is criticism of their own work. Yeah, because they critique other people. Yeah, they will be the ones that'll say, you mispronounced that word. Or they will get on one of these Zooms and somebody says something and they say, oh, correction, let me just point out, and they put it in the chat, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They will critique everybody. The I's and D's don't care, but the C's do. And so you have to say to it, C, if you had a step-by-step plan, could you do a competent job? Are you kidding? Of course they could. They're critical, analytical, and they can do anything like that. They usually dress, they're very chromatic also. They don't have any fluff. They don't have big jewelry as women. Excuse me. They will they might wear a pearl stud or a gold stud. No, they don't want people looking at them too much and drawing attention. They're more understated. And so you have a C for sure. They would never wear those pajamas, and they wouldn't wear all those scarves and jewelry and that the eyes do, etc. No, they're much more understated. They might just have, they wear black or gray, our brand, and just a little something or other. But they're all good. So when you say, so you've got what generally happens, you have the DIs in one group. Now we have all four personalities, and I have some C in me, very little, but I do have C. And I have S, but predominantly I'm a DI. When I started, I was an IS. Now you can change, you're not in this forever. You evolve as you grow. When I started this business, I loved to be out front and be in charge, and I was doing different activities. I was the president of the tennis group, and then I was on the board for getting more money for the teachers. But I also like my family, and so I'd come home in the summers, and I'd pick strawberries out of the fields and apricots, and I'd make apricot jam, and I'd do strawberry jam. And then I realized, oh, I didn't have time to do that if I was going to build another business. So I learned to just be really smart, to satisfy that hunger that I was taking care of my family. I got really smart. I thought I got to get to directorship. I got to move up, just like a lot of you. You got to move up to 4-star and to make big money. And I only had so many hours in the day because I was teaching school all day. Then I was starting a new platform and I had to move up. So what did I do? I went to the store and got the little curd jars. And then I went and then got at the Costco, like the big tubs of strawberry jam, apricot jam. And then I went home and then I scooped out of the big jars, put them in the little curd jars, put some ribbons around it, and then put it on when my daughter came home from school and my husband at the time came home, and they'd see all these little jam jars. And they said, oh, this is fantastic. Look at this. And then instead of baking cookies from scratch, I could just go to the frozen food department and get the Toll House and go slice, 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 just put it on the shelves, put it in there. Or what I would do is I would go to the cookie shelf and get the cookies, and then I'd take them out of the wrappers and I put them on a cookie sheet and put them in the oven warm. And then I put them in there. And when I knew they were coming out, I pulled it out. Oh, look what mom made. She has all these cookies. So it kind of satisfied me to take care of that S in me. But now I knew I needed to build and I had to have more D, and I had to really focus on that. And then of course I did. So it doesn't mean, what I'm trying to say here is that you don't have to, you're not categorized in that one position forever. You will have 4 different, but D's and I's usually are higher, and SCs are kind of categorized, and 80% are SCs. So when you're interviewing all these people, you got SCs that are going to take longer. So look at your list. Who are you targeting? Are you going to go after the D's and I's that are driven to make money and are willing to do it? Are you going to spend 2 years grooming and having your SCs do it? Now, I'll tell you exactly, this will put it into perspective to close out, because I know we're coming to it. I could go into more details, but not right this second. But it's like when you go to the convention. I remember this is what happens. If 4 people are driving to convention, who's going to drive the car? The D. The D's in control. The D's going to drive the car. That D's not going to sit in the back seat and is driving in control. Who's going to sit in the right side? The I. The I's for party time. It's going to be the banners, 3 International, and you got the pom-poms, and they're excited. The D's and the driving the car, the I's party time. And who sits behind the I? The S. The S is prepared for the family. You can count on the S. They bring the granola bars, they bring the Band-Aids, they bring the drinks or whatever. They are prepared for the family. You can always count on an S to have everything you need. That aspirin or whatever, of course, we use Revive now, but I'm just saying you can count on them. And on the C brings the map or pulls up the Google Maps, and so they know they're critical analytical. And the C will actually point and due to the D, excuse me, the speed limit is 65 and you're going 80 miles an hour. And so what does the D do? Are you kidding? Are you going to tell me what to do? That D just continues going straight ahead. They're not taking any information from that D at all. Okay, now they all get to the hotel. We got 4 personalities in the car. Now, oh, they pull up to the front. The bellman comes up. What happens? The bellman says, "Can I take your luggage?" The SCs, who are more practical, no, thank you. I can take my own bags. But the DIs, hey, absolutely. I'm going to have somebody take care of me. I'm not going to carry my bags. The DIs have their bags taken in. Okay. Now they get in, and what? There's a line to register for the hotel. What do the DIs do? Oh, the SCs immediately get in line. They do what they're told to do. They follow instructions. They follow the rules. They don't go over the speed limit. They do what they're told to do. The DIs go and they walk up. What? There's a line? Well, I'm not standing in that line. So what do? They go through the line to see if they know anybody in the line and they cut in. Oh, hi, so-and-so. And they just squeeze in. And you even see it at convention when people are lined up at the door to go into the convention. All the SCs are lined up. What do the DIs do? They skirt around and they go to the front of the line and squeeze in. Oh, hi. And they squeeze in. Now all the SCs are going, oh, what are they doing? I've been standing here. I'm doing what I'm told to do. And those DIs are squeezing in. That's who they are. They're DIs. It's not that they're rude. That's just who they are. They're figuring out an angle. How can I get there fast? How can I get those best seats? And so as it comes about, 4 personalities in a hotel room sharing a room. The DIs obviously cut in line, get to the room first. And what does the I do? Room service. Let's have party time. We're going to have room service. And then finally the SCs come in, and then the DI say, well, what took you so long? Well, we were in line. Well, why didn't you cut? Well, no, I mean, we follow the rules. And so they're sitting there, and now you can always see if you have women that are all in the room and makeup things, the C's, all of their cosmetics will be labeled, labeled. Everything's labeled. If you were to see an I personality's cosmetic little thing, it'd be, it's all messy. Who cares? And also the SCs, when they get to the room, they take their things out of their suitcase and they put them in the drawers. They are organized. They put things in. The I's and who cares? We just put things here and there. It doesn't matter. So these are all these different personalities. Of course, the SCs, what do they do the next day? They immediately say, you know what? We've got to have a schedule. Who's going to get up first to take the shower? Who's going to use the bathroom first? And so the SCs make a schedule. And 6 o'clock in the morning, ding, ding, ding. All right, it's time for you to get up. And the DIs go ahead. We'll catch up. So the SCs get up and go, get dressed, go down, because they're going to be in time. They're going to be in time and get on that line. But the DIs come in later, room service, or come in, they'll be running in with their coffee or whatever. And then they skirt around to the front. Or what'll happen, they just come in on a wing and a prayer, like the event's starting, and the SCs are in their seats. It's showtime. And they're ready. The music comes on, the president comes out, and they're ready. They have their pencils and papers, and suddenly the DIs come in. Oh, excuse me. Did you save me a seat? They'll be looking for people to save seats, and then they'll say, oh, I forgot my tablet. I don't have my pen. Do you have a pen? Do you have this? But of course the SCs do. The SCs are always prepared for the family, so they always have a big satchel. Well, yes, I do have an extra pen. I do have some extra paper for you. Okay? So these are the personalities that you're dealing with every single day. And so it is important to know who you're dealing with, even when you're doing presentations. And so that's why my presentations are even longer than a 30-minute presentation, because I've got 80% of my people that are SCs on these platforms. Everybody get that? Yeah, that is why I do that. I have to do a little more about the product versus a D or not. Now, if I do a private Zoom, now I know I can kind of skip, I can find out what they're doing. But if I'm in a group, I've got to get to every single personality on that Zoom. Or I don't know who my audience is. So I got to deliver high income, recognition. I got to talk about product, the most amazing science, solid company, research. I got to put all that stuff out because it could be the one thing that makes or breaks it. So that's it for today on SC personalities. So just remember, always ask, tell me about yourself. You'll know the I or the D, once it's all about money, show me the money and getting into leadership fast. 2, the I is all about being on stage. Number 3, the S is tell all about your family. It's got to be a business they can do around their family. And lastly, the C's, which are much like a D, actually, news commentators are DCs. They are very dominant, but they have to be accurate with their information. Now you kind of know who you're dealing with. And then you just ask the second question if you're in a private Zoom, what do you like or dislike about your current situation? And number 3, then you say, what would you do if you had the ideal dream career? Are you worried about AI taking over your job or whatever? And are you planning to do that forever? What would you really like? And now you do present. All right, so I'm through, George.
Yeah. Well, so right. And by the way, the cool thing, when you know this, what Christine is talking about, you can adapt your personality. It's why, depend on the personality, when this one presentation to a specific person, but in a normal presentation, you have to reach everybody. And that's why sometimes you speed up the presentation, sometimes you slow down, sometimes you go deep into the products. We are going too deep, by the way, because you don't want to keep the presentation too long or the pay plan. Depend on the person that you have to. But the reality is so great when you understand this, because you can adapt yourself to this. Everybody has the 4 personalities, by the way. It's just that you have it at different levels, and your strong personality could be the D or the I or whatever. Go ahead, Christine.
Right. Yeah, and one last thing I want to say is absolutely right. When I know I have a D, I'm going to talk like a D. My voice is going to be different. I got to be a chameleon. If I have an SC, if they talk really soft, I'm going to talk real soft. If they move forward like this, I'm going to move forward. I'm mirroring my prospect on a one-to-one. If they move back like this, that's what I'm going to do. You have to learn who you're dealing with. This is not about you. You got to find out where they're coming from, who they are. You have a better ratio of closing at that time. Mirroring and watching the tone, listen, ask questions, and remember those traits. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. It's why when you say powerful, I put the notes on the side, of every personality. Also, make sure you can watch or listen to this again. There's a great book, although everybody call it different, but there's a great book that's called The Colors, but talks about basically the colors are the different personality too.
Yeah.
By Tom Schreider or Vic Allen. It's very easy to read and very fun to read. Because the guy talks in all the personalities in that book, or the audio. If you had the audible, it's very good too. Go ahead, Christine.
Yeah. And some people, I know Holly DeMont does it with the animals.
That's
It
right.
doesn't matter. It's all the same.
Yeah.
But I just am straight on the DISC program because I know that changed my life in my business
Yes.
when I understood. And lastly, I'll say, just because I was a teacher, I would have been a better teacher. I reflect back because I taught school for 17 years, but I reflect back now after I learned this when I was in my first platform. I said, oh my gosh, who were the D's in my classroom? They were the ones looking at the clock every day. When's recess? They wanted to be the first ones to get the dodgeball. I was teaching elementary school. They were watching that clock and they couldn't wait to be the first ones on the ground so they could be in charge of the recess. They'd be the dominant ones. The I's were always talking. Quiet, quiet, quiet. They drove me crazy. The S's, I love the S's, but I didn't know they were S's. I'd say, open your book. They all did it. The D's and I's are looking around, and open your book. You have to go back. But the S's did exactly what I was doing. And the C's always had an eraser. I said, it's time to close. Oh no, I have to finish. I have to get this right. They were perfectionists, analytical, erasing, and doing that. So I had these 4 personalities in my room, and I didn't know. And so, of course, the SCs were great for a teacher, but the DIs were talking. What am I going to do next? Looking at daydreaming. They got other things they've got to control the situation. So your children, if you have children, your children watch the personalities.
Totally.
Yeah, they're all different.
Totally.
Okay.
But great, great. Anybody has a comment before we go? I know we went a little longer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, no, no, it's okay. I mean, it's good. It's good. I love this. I love this. Anybody? This is, by the way, the kind of training that we can have for over an hour, and it's still it
Yeah.
could be excited. By the way, especially because when you start learning and be aware of the personalities, helping you not only on your business, but also when you are dealing with normal things, your kids, people around you, etc. It's so
Your
so
husbands, etc., etc. Yes.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'll give you an example. My
yeah,
husband's detailed in the orientation, and he'll print this stuff out and says, look at this, read this. And I'm going, I don't want to do that. I don't have time to read all this stuff, you know? And I said, just highlight the points, you know? But that's where he's coming from. And so we're in a, you know, etc.
That's true. That's true. And it's why it's so important to understand the personality, because then it's easier for you to deal with anybody. Even you sometimes think, well, that means that we have to have the same personality. No, that doesn't mean that. Because when you have the same personality, still you're going to have challenges because now you are competing. But it's why when you understand personality, it doesn't matter who you are talking to or you are around to. You can do amazing as soon as you understand it. Sometimes depend on your personality, you have to have a little more patience, but patience is so important because then in the long term it's going to pay off, because then you're going to realize, whoa, that's the best way to deal with blank, whoever
Right.
you are dealing.
Mm-hmm.
And also some people, sometimes when they're dealing with certain personality dominance, for example, you feel that you're being bullied, but it's not.
Yes.
You say,
Yeah, but
that person is bullying me. No,
Yeah.
that's the way that he or she talks. That's it.
Well, that's true. At a D many times will say so and so. They'll say an I or a says, well, they said this. They were kind of gruff at me, and then you say something to the D, and they say, what did I say? I just sounded like it is.
Yeah, yeah, yep. And
You
then
know,
all other times you are with the, I think it's with the I personality, and they're having so much fun that you say that person doesn't take anything seriously. It does. It's just that has a different personality. As a matter of fact, usually they're great on stage, and people
Yes.
love them to follow them because they are great speakers.
Mhm.
But you have to understand that, because I've seen it many times, or there are people that they just want to please other people. Usually they're afraid to be on stage, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
But they are great. Every personality is great in our team, by the way, because everybody's going to be great in something,
Yes.
and everybody can be a millionaire. Doesn't matter the
Yes.
personality. Don't think
Yes.
because you are a certain kind of personality, you are quiet, etc. I have one of the first millionaires that I have in network marketing was in one of the company I was, and you could have better personality from a rock. He was very into himself. He barely smiled. He barely talked, but he was I think was the first or the second people to earn $1 million in my team. It
Yeah.
was the second one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell them if they want more information, Google this.
Oh,
Yeah. And
there,
you can, if you want to Google
there's David.
David, here's the C.
Hi, David.
Oh God, David says if they want more information, they can Google the DISC program. He's hearing all of it. But we say D gets the idea, I, implements it, the S, the C checks for accuracy. We've got different things, but it's all good. There's no right or wrong. But
That's
you get
right.
what the main line, when you know